We all have a point and place in our lives where this addiction originated, where it first started. So for me, I'm an 80s baby. So growing up, we didn't have the internet as we have it today. In fact, the internet was probably just for like wealthy people and stuff at that point. But nonetheless, technology was different. I grew up in an era even before DVD players where it was VHS tapes. I remember back when I was about 10 or 11 years old, I remember being at a childhood friend's place, and I remember, man, he had a secret to tell me, right? He had found his mom's porn stash. At that point, I really wasn't even aware. I wasn't into that type of stuff. I wasn't watching it or anything like that. But he found this tape in her, I guess in her panty drawer, wherever the guy found it at. And he put the tape on. And from that moment, that's when you seeing this stuff you never seen before. You seeing this wild stuff. You know that it's stuff that you're not supposed to be watching, but you know how children are. You know how little boys are. We just watching this stuff, enjoying this stuff. And as I got older, my freshman year of high school, and I remember there was a situation where it was the cats at school talking about some store up the street from the school or not far from it, where they were selling the big jug mags and all different types of stuff, right? So I remember going there curious, just wanted to see what everybody was talking about. Going there, it was an old dude, it was an old bookstore, like a hole in the wall type thing. And sure enough, this dude had these magazines, and young me, young impressionable, young high school version of me, going in there, nervous, not knowing what to talk about, and then asking for the books, and sure enough, the dude sold them to me, right? And again, this is an older dude, and I'm a young person. Now, the point that I'm trying to make is, at the beginning stages of where this addiction arose, I had people that were enabling me. I had people that were influencing me, encouraging me. They introduced me to it, right? Other people telling me, oh, where you could go find this secret thing that people are into. They're telling you where to locate this stuff. You go to the place to locate the stuff. You have somebody that's complicit in putting you on to it, encouraging you, even an adult. You know, and in my case, it was not even a parent that did it. It was some old creepy dude who owned the store and just wanted to make some money. He didn't care. He was selling it to me, right? So I remember getting this magazine. And I remember working at my first job when I was in 9th grade. I remember going to the bathroom. It was in the back or whatever. And in the bathroom, there was a whole bunch of magazines there. And you know, sometimes people doing their business and then they might read or whatever. So I'm getting the magazines, and sure enough, there's different magazines, different porn magazines and stuff like that at a grocery store bathroom, right? So anyway, the older I'm getting, the more I'm seeing these things. And you know how you are when you're young and you know, you want all the girls. You may not be sexually active at that time. Now, for myself personally, I lost my virginity at a younger age to an older girl. And so at that point, I wasn't a virgin, but I wasn't experienced or anything like that either. Like I was just, you know, I still was young or whatever. Nonetheless, I was reading these books, getting captivated with these images. Some of you old school cats out there that's watching it right now, I remember in one of the magazines, it was a star named Anna Moore or whatever. I would love me some Anna Moore. And anyway, so those transitioned into getting more tapes and going to like the liquor store, the corner store by my place. And these guys were selling it, overcharging for it, but they were still selling me the tape. So this was just growing my addiction more and more and more. And I remember going home, popping these tapes in, and just, man, you just seeing all of this type of stuff that you like, wow, seeing these women doing these acts and these different things that you're just mesmerized by, right? Feeding your addiction more and more and more. I was always like intelligent growing up, but by the time high school came around, I really wasn't focused on my books. I was more like hustling and gambling and having fun, the social aspect. Like I was funny, you know, that type of stuff. So I was just more so having fun. And I was into the girls, but I was into getting my money way more, but still, I still had this addiction. When you're younger and everybody is talking about this type of stuff, it doesn't seem like anything is wrong with it, right? It seems normal, it seems social. But as you continue to get older, technology started to increase. So then I got to college, and at this point, DVDs were the thing, right? And I remember all the fellas was talking about it. We had the DVDs. Pinky was this when she first started popping, and Kitten, and a lot of the, you know, the women that were legendary during that time. So this was like 03, 04, 05, that time frame. And we were in the dorms trading videos like they was Pokemon cards or something. Man, you seen that new Pinky video? You seen this, that, and the third? We were excited, everything. And again, we were carrying on like this stuff was normal. Meanwhile, just watching this stuff is getting ingrained in your brain. And when I was dealing with women, it wasn't like a situation where I had problem getting girls. I was pretty popular, handsome dude, nice style, and I had no problem getting girls. But whenever I would get with them, it wasn't like it was totally fulfilling me. It could be times where I'm having sex multiple times a day, you know, even in some instances, multiple chicks on the same day at different times, and then still feeling the need and the urge to go watch one of these DVDs just to get one off or whatever, right? And in college, I wasn't into my books. Again, it was more like high school. It was more like a social thing. I was more hustling a whole lot, getting my money and stuff, and just socializing, having fun and things like that. But meanwhile, this addiction was festering. So after my college days passed, in my early to mid 20s, in my young adulthood life, and the fellas, they're still, you know, talking about it, having DVD collections. Most dudes have a stash somewhere. And then at this point, the internet was really, really popping. And this is when videos and the websites were really super, super popular. So now you don't need a tape or a DVD player. You could just go right to your laptop or your computer and watch this stuff, right? And more selections, more stuff that it's like a kid at a candy store, right? And this stuff is all free, right? You get where I'm going with this? So the more and more I'm watching this, the more and more I'm having these desires, I'm wanting this type of stuff, and the more and more I'm getting away from my goals, the more and more I'm getting away from who I truly am as a person. You know, at this time, during this time, I was drinking a lot heavy. You know, I would smoke. I wasn't a big like smoker, and I'm talking about the herb. I never smoked cigarettes, but the herb. So I wasn't really, really heavy with the smoking, but sometimes I would, but I was drinking really, really heavy. And I was just going in a downward spiral. I wasn't working out as consistent as I should. I would be on and off. I wasn't taking my health seriously. At this time, I wasn't detoxing and fasting and stuff like that. Even when I would, I still had this addiction. And the more and more women I would deal with, I wasn't getting in relationships. Even with them, in most cases, I wasn't even able to release. And I always looked at it as, oh, I'm just pleasing her. I'm pleasing a woman. She get hers and I'll get mine later or whatever. And they would be confused, not understanding why they couldn't make me get one off. If they thought it was a problem with them, I would always say, no, it's just me. I just want to make sure you're taken care of. Not understanding that this is like a mental block that's occurring right now, right? Time continues to go past, and I'm not where I want to be in my life, right? I didn't have like my goals in line. I'm jumping from job to job. Who I was as a person when I was younger, I was getting way more money during those times than I was as I was getting older, which was confusing to me because it's like it's supposed to be the other way around, right? Meanwhile, not understanding that I have a problem, that I have an addiction, that every time I watch these videos and every time I'm releasing, even multiple times in a day, this is draining my energy. This is draining my life force. This is taking my focus away from my purpose. I'm off my mission. Now, some of you brothers might be listening to this and you may be right there. You may have been there, so you know what I'm talking about. Or you may be going through this stuff right now. Or you may be even younger watching this and just getting into it and not realizing the dark path that you're headed down. Again, it's nothing wrong with like loving women. I encourage that. But never put them ahead of you. Never put them ahead of your mission. And especially never put watching porn and all of that stuff ahead of your mission, because that's taking your mind away from what's most important. It's your goals, it's your focus and stuff like that. A lot of times we don't even realize we're addicted to something until we're not addicted to it anymore, until someone has to flat out tell us, you got a problem. I didn't realize I had a problem, but I knew something was up. I knew something was wrong, but I couldn't quite put my fingers on it, right? No pun intended. So as I got older and I started researching more and more, and I started reflecting on my life and looking where I was at and trying to figure out why I'm not where I want to be in my life, I'm starting to be honest with myself. I'm starting to realize, okay, there's some things I have to change. And it starts with the man in the mirror, like Mike Jack once said, right? And I started realizing, okay, man, this is porno addiction, man. This isn't getting me anywhere. And then I heard a quote that said, if you're pleasing yourself to someone else getting pleasure, meaning if you're getting pleasure from watching some other people doing it, that makes you a cuck. And I'm always thinking like, wait a minute, no, I'm not like a cuck. I don't have, a girl that I'm letting somebody else smash out and I'm getting pleasure off that. That ain't me. But if you're watching porn and you're watching someone else and you don't even know these people, like, think about that. Really, really, really think about that. You really are watching someone else. You're not even doing anything. And again, it's no judgment or anything. If who's ever into that, that's you. But I'm talking to the men who are on a mission, who this isn't how they define themselves, right? You're getting pleasure. You're getting all of these dopamine hits off of watching someone else have fun, have pleasure. And you're allowing this to take mental real estate in your own head and taking you off your focus. You may not have the body that you want. You may not be strong as you want. Your money may not be where you want it to be. Your life may not be where you want it to be. And you can't blame anyone else. It all starts inside. It all starts right here, right? And if you're watching all of these images, they're all getting ingrained into your head. They're all getting ingrained into your subconscious. These things can make you socially awkward. They can give you a warped view of reality. You're going around thinking that you can just approach different women a certain type of way, or when you approach women, they're just not what you're seeing on this stuff, this fantasy, these things can be exaggerated. And even if they're not exaggerated, it's like the average girl, they may or may not participate in the things like that you're watching, whatever your particular fetish may or may not have been, right? So anyway, I started realizing, okay, I have to make a change, because your value as a man, first and foremost, it was established way before you were even born. God established your value. God established your worth. But if you don't know that, you're easily led astray. And then when your life may not be where you want it to be, and you're trying to connect with different type of women, especially in your eyes, if you feel like they're higher caliber, if you're not where you want to be in life, if it doesn't look like that you have much to offer, as you get older, the quality of women that you're gonna attract is not gonna be the highest caliber, because you're not reflecting that. You attract what you are. Like attracts like. So all you're able to do is attract, like, in your eyes, like low-level type women who aren't really attractive to you, but you just feel like, man, you got an urge, you need to get yours. You jumping on apps, jumping in DMs and different things like that. You like looking desperate, being desperate, not having any self-respect for yourself, not taking care of yourself, only accepting what's at the bottom of the barrel for you, the scraps, the leftovers and stuff like that. You start looking at life like, man, is this all that you're worth? And you got to remember, man, you're worth way more than that, man. You deserve the very, very best. You deserve the top of the top. But if you continue to engage in these addictions, if you continue to go down the path of your lower self, you'll never get to that place where you want to be. A man without a vision is soon to perish, right? You got to have your goals, your visions in your mind, and you got to work on these things every day. Leave all of the distractions alone. Put that away, right? Even if you feel like you can't live without that stuff, just start where you're at. Start today. Say, today I'm going to make a change. I'm not going to watch none of this stuff. I'm not focusing on that. You owe it to yourself. You owe it to yourself to be the best version of yourself. Part of my purpose is to make sure that you become the highest version of yourself. And this isn't even just for men. This is for women too. This is for young, old, middle-aged, whatever the case. I'm here for you. You're better by design. You're better by birthright. Remember that, better by birthright. You heard it here first, and that's what you are. By birthright, you deserve the best, but you have to be the best. You have to do your best. Your best doesn't have to be the next person's best, because you're not competing against the next person. The person you're competing with is the person in the mirror, and you shouldn't even be competing with that person. You should be aligned with that person. Know who you are. Know thyself. Acknowledge whatever your problems is. Acknowledge whatever your weaknesses are. Praise your strengths, but work on your weaknesses. Work on yourself. You're better than that. I'm better than that. We're better than that. I'm glad to say I'm no longer, ensnarled in that vicious trap anymore. I don't participate in that stuff, and I don't judge people who do, but I do know all of the time that it took away from me. So let's get it together. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your energy. If you're watching this video, that means that you're interested in making a change for the best, and I salute you. Shout out to you. Keep doing that. Stay on this path. You're there. You're almost there. Don't forget to like, subscribe to this channel, hit the bell for notifications, and share this video with someone who you feel may need to hear and see something like this. If you're a parent and you don't know how to talk to your child and you feel like they may have a problem, by all means, show them this video. Let them see. Let's start from somewhere. Let's get it together. Peace.